What's up folks, it's Fozzie here, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having an absolutely amazing day. The background has changed, we're back in the main house, we've moved the setup back. This is why the upload's a little bit later tonight than usual, but we're diving into a new custom tactics video. That's what we upload every single Monday, so if you're new to the channel, you're new around here, that's what we do. Every Monday you get custom tactics. Basically, if you finish weekend league, you want some new tactics to try out, new formations to try, I give them to you on Monday. You've got all week to test them out in rivals, and hopefully you'll be able to use them in champs and get those extra wins you need. So if you do enjoy the video, please do leave a thumbs up. It's greatly appreciated and just helps the channel out. And if you're new to the channel, just hit that subscribe button, help me out on this content journey. We're trying to hit 1,000 subs to get the YouTube partner program. So let's dive into the video today, and it's going to be the 4-2-3-1 custom tactics, what I think works the best, but it's going to be a little bit different because we're using the wide variant. And most people play the narrow version where you have just 3 cams. Also, you got a right attacking mid and a left attacking mid. This time we're actually going to have wide players, left mid, right mid, and I just found it worked an absolute treat. I hit a bit of a rougher patch. Obviously you can see the team here, and we completed the best, so if you're interested in seeing him, there is a full player review on him on the channel. I'll link it down below. I think he's fantastic. We've had 17 games, 12 goals and 9 assists. He has been primarily playing as a striker, but everyone else has been digging in with goals. The way the system works, actually, you'll see how it sets up, but Usain Mawar, who I was using as a box-to-box for most of the games and had very little goal contributions, he was playing a very vital role in the team. So we'll dive into it. I had hit a bit of rut with this team. I decided I needed to try some new tactics from what I was testing. Everyone suggested the 4-2-3-1. You know, it's a very good base formation to use if you need to sort of reset your FIFA gameplay. But I decided to try the wide variant. We're running press after possession loss on 43 width and 65 depth, so a bit deeper on the width. And that's just because there's 4 at the back, there's 2 CDMs. I want to be able to actually press the opponent that little bit. The width stays the same over on the offense. It's 43, and we're running fast build up on direct passing, which, as you guys know if you watched all the custom tactics, is my favorite combination this year. 4 players in the box, 1 corners and free kicks. 4 players in the box just works nicely for me. 1 for the corners and the free kicks, because we may have to rat out a corner glitch against some people if they use it to us first, and only if they use it first. Now, I'll say it real quick, these tactics were fantastic for me running the ball back. With how I've set up the instructions, which I think is very different to what most people do and what I myself would normally automatically go to, it meant that winning the ball back was great. I was very rarely caught really badly on the counter attack. I always had 2 or 3 men back there. It just seemed to flow really well. Now, this is how it plays in game. Very, I'd say maybe not very obvious. Some people probably play best out wide with Gino up front, but I found with the medium low and the low stamina, best worked best in this system. Best worked best in this system as a striker. You don't want to bomb it up and down the wing because his stamina will drain. His dribbling's nuts, and basically as a striker he helps fabulously in the build-up play because he's got also really good long passing, so he can't play out to the wide man. Etibo and Modric's working as my defensive midfielders. Would probably prefer a high defensive, medium attacking work rate player, but Etibo did the job fantastically. If you completed that SPC for 70k, big dub, he'll work well on this team. And then your other centre defensive midfielder is someone you actually want to be able to score with. None of this 2 CDM crap we see. I know some people like the ideal is Vieira and Hullet, which would work perfectly in this, but I'm sick of seeing Vieira and Kante in teams. You don't need 2 all out DMs this year. 1 does the job. We've got the Etibo, and you know this team worked really well. Obviously, I try to give you guys a different formation every week, so I may have to move away from this in my testing formations, but this is definitely going to be in my locker for if I need to maybe pull out a win in a game, go into something that I know will work. So instructions wise, what we're using: keeper, balance. Schmeichel surprised me. Hadn't used him this year. I'd heard people complain about him, but he came up with some big saves and big moments. He also worked really nice with keeper movement. I find some keepers are better than others for it. He was a solid keeper, and he's only really in the team to strong like Sayonku. And for the centre backs, nothing changes. They're on the default settings. So the full backs are stay back and overlap. And last year I used to say never use overlap. I didn't think it was that good. And I often this year didn't like having them all stay back, because I like getting the full backs forward and actually attacking. But in the theme of testing different tactics and seeing what works in the game, I think it's my duty to actually try all the different tactics. So I went for stay back and overlap on the fullbacks. I won't say it was anything like game changing, game breaking, anything like that, but I did find my fullbacks in good positions, and with what the settings for or the instructions for Etibo are, that probably helped push them up. So if you look at him now, he's on man mark, drop between defenders, and cover center. Now, this is why I was saying these systems, this tactics is probably very different, because normally we also have to see Modric's settings in a second, but normally it would be a case of the CDM is on stay back, and then Modric would either be a box to box, or maybe also on stay back, or maybe one of them's on drop between and one of them's on stay back. But with the fullbacks on stay back and over that, I only wanted one of the defensive midfielders to actually be like full on defending. I want the other one to be able to venture forward. So we're going to drop between defenders on a table rather than stay back, because normally most people would just do stay back in this case if they only have the one back. But I thought we'll try something different and see how it works in game. And this is what I said, I find myself a lot more defensively sturdy for counter attacks. I think because he's on cover centre and he's dropping between, he is filling that little void that can happen in the middle of them. Go and Cause both then like push out a little bit, the fullbacks push up and out as well. So it gives you more width in the pitch, and it gives you a bit more of a control in the game, especially for those counter attacks. I think you've kind of got 5 people as the block. Obviously you can pull a fullback forward and things like that, but I found it made a really solid like 3 with your main defensive midfielder and then your centre back. So I would say that is with 100. I know people might look at me now when they see Modric is purely on get forward, and they might think, what the hell are these tactics? No one's on stay back. But trust me, with the fullbacks on stay back and overlap, your main DM, like an all-out DM on just drop between the defenders, the cover centre and the man mark, they will do absolute bits for you. And then they also, what I found a lot of the time in this game, you can end up being like basically 5 at the back, 5 forward. Like when you're on attacking stage, like you have all your attack forward and all your defenders stay back, and there's this really big void in the middle of the pitch. What I found when that did happen, people would sort of step up, not massively, not overstep, but he would step forward for you and offer that pass to help you recycle the ball around, which is very realistic, I'd say, and I thought it just worked fantastically for my playstyle. Now, the cam, just get in the box. Nothing crazy here, and I will say, Houssem Aouar, I kind of was worried about him after getting the SPC because he's always been good for me. He looks insane, he's got everything right for him, but he hadn't been finishing some shots for me, and as an attacking centre mid, I hadn't seen him be like as prominent as other attacking centre mids. Like even Zaniolo for me had been like a bit more better in the goal return. Things changed this weekend with him in this system, man. He was getting involved for the assists. He was key, like key positioning wise. His position was fantastic, and I think it'll be the same for any cam in the system, because you've not got like a right and left cam really close to them. They have a bit more freedom to move around position wise, and I think that helped tremendously. And that's why I like this wide variant rather than the standard one. Then the wingers are getting behind and getting to the box for cross on the right hand side, and then on the left hand side, you might know where I'm going with this. Getting behind and get into the box for cross. Sometimes I used to run people on cutting inside and have one player dedicated to just going down the line, one player dedicated to cutting inside. But it's become a meta that you want to get the ball, run it to the byline and pass it in. A lot of people are defending for that. So I just like the sort of versatility of, if I want to cut inside with them, I can. But if not, the chance creation is going to stay a bit more unique, because we did say we've been trying not to put too many instructions on them. And I think outside of a Thibaut, there's only been there's only been more than 2 instructions on a player. I'm trying to avoid putting 3 instructions on them, because I feel that's where it can get a little bit iffy, especially in the attacking phase. Now, none of them are on come back in defence, and that's because the fullbacks are on stay back as it is, but they do both come back naturally positional wise, and that helps them build up. But I don't think you want either of them on come back on defence, because they both should be going forward enough as it is. And obviously getting into the box, where this is more prominent on when you have a right mid rather than a right attacking midfielder. Because they're a bit deeper in the attacking phase, having them get into the box means, say I have the ball with Genoa, run down the left hand side, I get into the box. Vinny in this case, if he was a right attacking mid, like the Ram in the central version of this formation, he'll kind of be in the box already. But having him on get into the box across, it means he's actively still making the run into the box, which means he can do those really powerful first time finishes, or he'll just pick it up and be able to not fully recycle the ball, but offer more passing avenues. So really like this setup. And then finally the striker will stay forward, get him behind. That's all there was to it. I found best his left foot was still a little bit iffy for me, but overall he was great as a striker. What I will say, this is a system where I find some systems you're fully reliant on your strikers to score. In this, I find the cam was really vital for goal scoring. It was just how the build up works for it. You just get them in a lot of position. So I'd say you probably want either a cam that can really score, like that Fakir SPC would play great here, or a striker that can pass. And what I was saying in regards to best, don't be too worried if your striker Obviously, they've got an awful goal return. There's an issue going on, but don't be too worried if your striker's no longer getting those 2-3 goals a game for you consistently. Because what you'll find is your Cam's probably picking up some goals, and your left and right mid are getting involved. And I actually had Modric getting involved quite a bit with the get forward with how it works. So that's something to keep in mind. Let me know how you get on with these tactics, guys. As always, if there's any formations you want to see, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you do use them, to use these tactics, let me know in the comments down below how you get on with them. Obviously, it helped me out. I went 11-3 and then gave away the last 6 wins. I was away seeing family over Christmas. I didn't really want to spend that extra 6 games fully sweating out the 3 wins for the 14, but helped me get 11-3 comfortably, which, you know, is pretty solid, and it's been helping me sort of that slow grind in rivals to test out the formation. So hit that like button if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video, guys. Have an absolutely amazing day, evening, wherever time you're watching this. Hope you get some wins. I'll see you next one. Thank you and goodbye.